Brian here with you. Welcome to my office. Let's examine this mid-18th century American imprint. It's Boston, 1746, by Isaac Watts, collection of sermons. The title page says Volume 1. This book is actually both volumes bound, so it's 2 volumes bound as one. It's been rebound in the mid to late 19th century. I would put the binding style like this, somewhere between 1870 and 1890s. It's in, well, rough condition. The front cover is all but detached. It's held by a single binding cord, and the rear cover is still attached, but the spine here is pulling away, but it's still well and firmly adhered. So it's important to realize right up front that the front cover is essentially detached. The early, very rare engraved portrait here has been trimmed and affixed like so. I cannot say for sure that it is the 1746 portrait itself or some slightly later reissue of it. It's a mysterious sort of thing, because if this is in fact this date in this imprint for a portrait, it's a very early American portrait, but we will assume that it is perhaps a later issue of the portrait that some previous owner inserted. What's interesting to note is once we get past the title page here, the text begins at page 17. So it's lacking its first 16 pages, but what we can say is the book has existed like this for well over 100 years, because when it was rebound in the 19th century, this is how it was rebound. So the book survived like this in the 19th century. So all imprints, American imprints of this era, are inherently scarce to rare. It's just a very early date for an American book. Volume 2 is, in this volume, there is no title page for it, but it's clear that it says right Volume 2 for it. You'll see here that there is a scattering of states of preservation for the paper. There's at times very clean and fresh, and other times more soiled, and no doubt this is a reflection of fingerprints and parts of the book that previous owners referred to and went to on a regular basis. And so we're just going to continue on through the book here. Here we are. Yes. End of the hymns in the first volume, and now we have sermons, Volume 2. And so, but the pagination continues on as a single book, but it's 2 volumes in one. And so we see that it remains sound, clean, and tight. And like so, it appears to be complete until we reach the very end here as we get towards, yes, right in here now. We go 13, yes, to 7 right here. So the hymns now begin here at 724, and we're lacking a leaf. So it goes to 727, which is defective, torn away with loss here. Then we go to 729, 30, 31. And this is something we see a lot in books of this era. It skips a leaf, and then there's some loss. Is often the front and the rear of the volume suffers the damage. And now at the final blank flyleaf here, we see this very early custom bookplate by an owner, and this notation that appears, he or someone who knew him quite well was married in the year of 1768. And then there is this partial publisher's, it may even be complete, I'm not sure, but it's this publisher's little leaf for a couple of other titles that was inserted when the book was issued in the 1740s. And so that's how this rare book survives, and it is available now online from me, Brian DiMambro.